العالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واقتدى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وبعد سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده. So what we normally used to have on Thursday evenings was the continuation of the seerah, a new episode on the seerah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But because yesterday we've informed everyone that we will not continue on the weekends, on Saturdays, therefore we've decided to shift the talk that we normally used to have taking place on Saturday evenings to Thursday evening for now. This is why we will be discussing that same discussion, that same topic and theme of guns, gangs, and violence. Now this has so many different sub-discussions to it as well. Nevertheless, the one that we've been discussing for now and for quite some time is brotherhood in Islam from the Quran and the Sunnah. So we will continue this discussion tonight, inshallah, just now. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening, we will continue to present to you a new episode on the seerah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On Thursday, for now, we will continue with the Saturday night series on guns, gangs, and violence. And on Friday, as usual, we will continue with the tafsir of the Holy Quran by Mufti Abdullah Manghera, hafidhahullah. Now, coming back to the hadith which we were discussing in detail last week. The hadith was, لِلْمُسْلِمِ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِ سِتَّةٌ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. There are 6 rights that every Muslim has over another Muslim. Just to recap whatever it was we discussed. 1 was to greet him with peace when he meets him. 2, to respond to his invitation. 3, to respond to his sneeze. And 4, to visit him when he is sick. 5, to follow his funeral when he dies. And 6, to love for him what he loves for himself. Now, a very great giant scholar, Ibn Muflih rahimahullah, he writes, وَمِمَّا لِلْمُسْلِمِ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِ, and also included in the rights of every Muslim over other Muslims is what? Now this is very relevant to what we've been discussing. A lot of these issues, a lot of these problems, and ultimately a lot of these shootings and killings, a lot of these huge, these bigger, colossal problems, they are actually sometimes as a result of this, simply because one person doesn't know how to uphold and maintain the rights that Allah has given to his fellow believer. This is why he goes and transgresses beyond the limits that Allah has set. And unfortunately, this leads to the pulling out guns and pulling of triggers, and ultimately lives are taken. We don't know, simply put. We just don't know. Had we known, we would have feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. Those who know, those who have deep, true understanding of the deen are those who fear Allah the most. Nobody would dare think twice taking the life of someone else. This is beyond comprehension. This is not something we could imagine. Somebody who fears Allah, somebody who knows what rights Allah has given to every single believer. Rasulullah ﷺ is being forced to leave Makkatul Mukarramah. And when he is leaving to make hijrah to Madinatul Munawwara, he looks at Makkah, Ka'batullah Sharifa for the last time, and he says, Ma atyabuki. How beautiful you are, O Makkah. Ma a'zamuki, ma a'zamu hurmatuki. How great and honored and exalted you and the honor that Allah has given to you is. Wa hurmatul mu'mini a'zamu hurmatan mink. But the honor that Allah has given to every believer is greater than the honor that Allah has given to His holy house, the Ka'batullah Sharifa. So when a person doesn't know this, it doesn't mean anything to him. To be backbiting, who cares? Slander, it's all good. You can tell him, be quiet, what are you telling me? These things, and it goes to somebody else, he said this about you, and then he comes back, oh, I heard you're saying this about me. We might think this is something small. This is how a lot of this fight, a lot of this fighting, a lot of this beef, and a lot of these conflicts, and a lot of these feuds that we have on the streets is exactly because of this. He thought he was something. He didn't know how to speak. I wish I knew more of the language that is used by some of these people. He had no respect for his elders in our little more decent formal language. He had no respect for his elders. He didn't know how to talk to the bigger mans. And this is what it leads to. Rasulullah ﷺ tells us, "Man lam ya'rif," whoever doesn't know the honor that is supposed to be shown to the elder, has no love for the youngster, isn't from amongst us. Doesn't matter what gang you belong to, my friend. On the day of judgment, that's not going to hold any value in the eyes of Allah. If you belong to the ummah of Rasulullah ﷺ, know that indeed you've earned your stripes. Know that indeed you've got something to be proud of. Know that indeed you have hope that your savior will be through the intercession of the Nabi of this ummah. But what about this gang? I represent him. And the gangs and the groups and this is nonsensical, completely foreign to Islam's teachings. So we don't know. Very simply put, I wish everybody was listening to this now. I wish. And I wish myself I'm able to practice on whatever is being said and any little bit of asabiyya that we have in us. My people, the Afghanis. My people, the Gujaratis. My people, the people of this part of Scarborough. My turf, my block, my hood. Allahu Akbar. This is nonsensical talk. I'm really sorry. I know I'm sorry. But this doesn't mean anything in Islam. Absolutely nothing. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. Only so that we can make life easy for ourselves. We belong to this municipality, this town, this city, this province, and that's it. We recognize each other and that's it. Not so that we could go to war against each other. Not so that we could shoot and kill one another. This is not what Islam has given us, these different tribes and these different... That's what it's for. It's for us to, through diversity, we find unity. And unfortunately, we've done exactly the opposite. And Muslims have done this to Muslims. And while the white man kills the black man, and the black man, unfortunately, that's a different discussion south of the border, but nevertheless, we do this to ourselves. And they just let it be. This civil unrest and this civil war. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. So now what else is included in the rights of a Muslim over another Muslim? One, that we cover each other's faults. I was on a WhatsApp group, and it was a pretty prestigious WhatsApp group. For those who know, they know. And one day, one person on this group decided to expose to another 250 of us, another person, I don't know if the other one was on the group or not, regardless, something that was not known to maybe a few. Well, I was definitely naive and new. I had no clue that this is what had gone down in regards to so-and-so person. I swore that I would never again, and I've been asked on numerous occasions why I am not a part of this WhatsApp group. It's very simple. I retell the same story every single time, again and again, and I just don't get tired. Because I hope there's a lesson for everyone to learn. We have no clue what we do. Or do we forget? We see a tiny prick, a tiny twig, a tiny little piece of wood in somebody else's eyes. We forget that there's entire logs inside of mine. There may be a page of something to expose others with. There's chapters in my life. There's volumes that if others wish to expose me through would be able to do. But yet we love to expose. This is not Islam. No, brother, you don't understand. I wanted to save others from the harm of this. Brother, sister, listen. For those of us who have a habit of gossiping and carrying tales and chit-chatting and backbiting and lying to others, stop. Fear Allah and stop. This is what brings about problems. Hide the faults of your fellow Muslim brethren. Hide them. Because tomorrow, when I am in trouble and I know I could have been exposed, I would not want me to be exposed. So let me not expose. Let me hide and conceal the faults of another Muslim today. This is included in knowing and fulfilling the rights of Muslims. Number one, cover his faults. Number two, forgive him or her his or her mistakes. How many times? Every time, he's always talking smack. He's always saying these bad things. He's always doing this and he's always doing that. She's always like this. She doesn't change. How many times do you expect me to forgive her? Let me give you the answer. As many times as you would want Allah to forgive you. And there's no stop. Just keep asking Allah, Allah, Allah. Every single day, spend the rest of your life asking forgiveness from Allah. We still haven't asked enough. So if somebody comes and asks me once, twice, you know, this is easy for me to talk about, but Allah knows how hard this is. Oh my goodness. Once you've been wronged, once you've been oppressed, once you've been, and reputations go down and words come out and, it's really tough. Families and feuds and, it's tough. I mean, the reason why we're talking about it, perhaps, this is just a stepping stone to bringing it into our lives. Maybe reminding myself and reminding those that are listening, maybe this might just, Mashraf Ali Tanwi rahimahullah said, whenever I find a flaw in myself, a deficiency and a weakness, that's when I go and address that weakness to the others and hope that Allah will fix me first thereby. Some people said, brother, you do it yourself. You do it yourself. Why are you telling others? This is a misconception and a false notion from shaitan that I shouldn't be talking about it simply because it's found in me. No, this is not hypocrisy. Speak about it and speak to everyone about it, and hopefully as a result of speaking about it, Allah will rid me of that evil first. Number 1, cover their faults. Number 2, forgive their mistakes. Number 3, have mercy for his or her errors. If they make mistakes, not only do you forgive them, have mercy on them. Wow, these are prophetic teachings. It's hard, I'll be very frank. Whatever these scholars have written hundreds of years ago, it's not easy for that person who only finds his honor lurking on Instagram. He doesn't know when somebody cyber bullies him a little bit. Oh my goodness, had they known, I guess, wallahu a'lam. But these teachings are prophetic and it applies to everybody across the board. This is what we're expected to do and this is the bottom line. And if you know somebody that sits with you in your circle, in your people, amongst your acquaintances and those that you're affiliated with, don't sit with them. When your reputation is on the line, you're asking for trouble. Don't bother even getting close to them. Stay away from them. That's a different discussion. But here, have mercy for his or her errors. Help them out. Some of us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me and all of us, we like to see people fall and it brings us joy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Yes, and we hate to see people rise. This brings us misery. And those who see us rise are but few and appreciate. But those who see us fall, it goes viral. Everybody comes to find out, I heard this happen. Is this true? I heard is this true about you? Is this happening? What? You didn't come and you didn't applaud me and you didn't come admire me and you didn't come reach out to me and you didn't come give me some words of kindness when good was happening, when I was moving forward. I'm not talking about myself, this hypothetical, when it applies to everybody. When everything was good in their lives, nobody wanted to go and, give them appreciation and acknowledgement. But when they go down, Ya Rabbi, such people will come to you. And unfortunately, they don't even come like men anymore. Such people will message you, the keyboard warriors, that's what they're referred to. They'll come and they'll give you these words that'll only add fuel to fire. He made a mistake, she made a mistake, let it be, let it go, Allah will forgive. Nah, this is the time I've been waiting for. All this time, this is not the seerah, by the way. This is the Saturday night lecture. You're thinking, what's going on? Yeah, so they were waiting for this opportune moment. They finally got it. May Allah forgive us. We've become so evil. And I'm not just saying things. I've actually seen these things happen before my eyes. And it's sad how I see people of very great statuses sometimes. People whom Allah is apparently blessed. But it happens to the best. We don't know who's the best. But just what the people consider the best based on titles and based on whatever have you. We'll find out on the day of Qiyamah who's who in the zoo. For now, we'll just keep our words, our comments, our exposing to ourselves. Next, overlook his missteps, somewhat the same as having mercy for his errors, forgiving his or her mistakes. Reject his backbiting. If anybody is putting his reputation down, if anybody is trying to degrade or defame or disgrace that person before you, in front of you, don't let it happen. Just like you would hope that if somebody was talking ill about you in the presence of somebody else, and that person said, hey, not in front of me, don't you dare say a word about that man. You know, I experienced this too, in a different part of the world. We were here, I'm not going to say names, but it happens. We were here and we were having a very wonderful, wonderful time. No, I don't even want to mention this. This is terrible. But be straight. That's the bottom line. Be genuine. Don't be fake. Be real. Yeah. May Allah give us the understanding. This is Islam. Be like the Sahaba. They didn't care. Umar radiallahu anhu, what do you think we should do with these prisoners of war? Ya Rasulullah, we shouldn't just kill them. Appoint the relative of them to kill them in Chapa. These people didn't care. Lo kya kahenge. What are the people going to say? Ask Umar radiallahu anhu what they were going to say. He'll tell you. That's why when the angels come to him to ask him, Umar, who's your Lord? He'll say, my Lord is Allah. Angel, who's your Lord? When you speak so real, that's what happens. Ali said, Inna sakinata tanzilu ala lisani Umar. Divine tranquility used to descend on his tongue. That was Umar bin Khattab, before we had one Umar in the ummah today. And what did Rasulullah say? In every ummah there was one who was a muhaddath. Who is a muhaddath, Ya Rasulullah? He said, the muhaddath of my ummah is Umar, but who is it? The one on whose tongue the angels speak. Yeah, that's why he didn't care. Lo kya kahenge. Nevertheless, this goes on. This list is very long, but I think we need to go through every single one of these. Always give him sincere advice. Wallahi al-azim, this is hurtful now. This is terrible. I know people who seek counsel, who seek advice from others, and for whatever reason, I'm going to have to share this. I've been asked to give this lecture, so I'm allowed to share my experience. Wallahi, they've been given advice that boggles my brain. How did somebody in their right mind ask you to do this? If they wish to see you go from this strength to the next, if they wanted to see you excel, if they wanted to see you move forward, I don't understand. Yes, the feebleness of my understanding, definitely possible. But until I don't question this individual who you sought counsel from initially, I don't see how this makes sense. Wallahi al-azim, I've had to counter counsel. I've had to reinvestigate. Like, what is this? How did somebody advise you to do this? You! This is not you. This doesn't belong. You don't belong here. This doesn't belong in you. This is not for you. When they ask for it's an amana. Al-mustasharu mu'taman. You've been given an amana. Too bad. Allah has given you that post. Allah has given you that position. Allah has made you that individual. They see you as pious. They see you as good. They see you as righteous. They see you as the one that they could possibly confide in. That's Allah's decision. Oh, that is... And if you don't do what Allah wants you to do with it, Allah will snatch what you have and give it to somebody else. This is an hadith. I just can't remember from where. Yes, whatever talents Allah has blessed us with, use them as they ought to be used with justice. Keeping Allah before us at all times. Otherwise, Allah will give it to somebody else. You won't imagine. Like, whoa, him? Oh yeah, Allah's got a lot of His people. Allah doesn't need us. Nevertheless, so when they come to us for advice, give them it. And if you don't know, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I'm not a rehab specialist or a psychotherapist. They want us to do exorcism. They want us to know the mental disease, the mental disorder. They want us to do it. I can't do this. There's a whole organization called this. There's $1 million industry called this. Please refer to these experts. I am not that. If you can't, don't do it. It's fine. Lo kya kahenge, but what this guy is going to say about me though? I went to the Maulana didn't know. One girl in my class, a little girl once told me, asked me a question. I told her, I don't have your answer. She said, are you Maulana? I said, yeah. Nevertheless, they come to us for counsel and advice. Give them the real, sincere advice. Allah is listening. Lie to this poor kid. Lie to the poor brother or sister now. Oh, watch what happens when we step. This is harsh, but this is true. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you, us. So, on the day of judgment, oh, this person made a decision. He chose a specific path based on the counsel, the good advice that so-and-so gave him. Good luck for that good advice that you rendered to him or her. Nevertheless, accept his guidance. Oh, it goes on, story. Preserve his good traits. You see somebody's been blessed by Allah with qualities. Don't hate. You've heard. Appreciate, number one. But help them be able to use and put the talent, the ability, the quality and trait so it can continue to grow, glow. This is what believers used to do for one another. This is what Sahaba radhiyallahu anhu used to do. أنا بلال وهذا أخي غلامان من حبشة. I'm Bilal and this is my brother. And we're two slaves from Habsha. And if you choose to marry any one of us, falhamdulillah. And if you choose not to, Allahu Akbar. That's the bottom line. They're so, no, I'm going to take you to the side. I have to have a special word with you. He didn't finish this. He's still working on his education. He doesn't have a good job. Unfortunately, but me, let me tell you about Wallahi, people are so cutthroat in the Muslim world. Oh, it's all coming out tonight. I don't know why, but all of these real life examples that are going in my mind right now, they're playing before me. People are so, be straightforward, that's it. They ask me for the position, I can't do it. He's much better. I tried for 2 weeks, I'm terrible. I come down, I'm sorry. This should have been the attitude of the believer. When it comes to respect and honor, we take it for ourselves. When it comes to helping the deen of Allah, we're standing in the back rows. Sahaba completely opposite. When it comes to imamah, which is leading the ummah. When it comes to imara, which is guiding, imam, leadership in salah. Imara, leadership in every other affair. Sahaba would say, Ya Rasulullah, not me. You're talking about not me. This is a person who's like angels. They're majhulun fil ard, they're ma'rufun fil sama. Nobody on earth might know these people. They're people who the angels chant their names out of pride. Ya Rasulullah, I don't think I can do it though. I think he's better than me. Ya Rasulullah, please don't appoint me. It's fine. It's no. But when it comes to who's willing to give their life to Allah, Ya Rasulullah, you chose him, but you didn't choose me. That's not right. Let me show you how I pin him down before your eyes, and perhaps I'll be given the opportunity to participate in Uhud as well. We're the complete opposite when it comes to helping the deen and doing khidmah and giving service. And when it comes to, I should be the leader, I should be the principal, I should have been given. Why did they not choose me? Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's really hard. Anyways. And then, guard his covenants. He made a promise. She made a promise. She gave you, or he gave you a word, an oath. Don't make it difficult for them not to be able to fulfill it. He said he'd be here. He said he'd come pick me up, and both of us will be there by 9. So you know, by the time he picked you up, he was projecting 8:30. So you knew if you were ready by 8:30, you'd be in the car and out the door in the car, and you would have made it by 9. But I don't want him to be made, I want him to be late. I want him to mess up in this interview. I want him not to show up on time. Why did he get the interview and not? Oh, this is us. Not everyone, illa mashallah, but a lot of us. We need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We might get the last laugh in this life. Oh, what's going to happen then when we stand in front of Allah? Yes, answer his invitations. We spoke about that last week. Repay his gifts. You don't have to. Somebody gifts you all the time. May Allah forgive me. Oh, I'm just talking. I wish I did these things myself. People gift you all the time. You should also gift. Tahadu tahabbu. You give gifts. This actually brings about love. It does. It's like metaphysics, but Rasul said, this will definitely cause love to grow. And it does. Especially when it comes to you from somebody that you would not have imagined. Oh my goodness. And it doesn't just have to be with something materialistic or tangible. That love, that gift, that brings about, it could be a person's time. It could be a person's help. It could be a person's listening to them. Just listen to them and do nothing. You were just there, they came to you, they were broken, they needed to be pacified and consoled, and that's all you did. You just listened. That's all they needed. That was the greatest gift. Remember, anything else tangible, you could have repaid them, any amount of money. But that time that you've given to them will never be returned. That time was priceless at that time. Don't, once he's recovered and the wound's starting to heal, no. At that time, may Allah make, oh, this is hard. This is really hard. I know, this is not easy. Talking about it is very easy. And when he does favors unto us, she does favors unto us. Show gratitude. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And more than anybody else in the world, the one that's showing gratitude to the husband is probably the wife, so she deserves. The one that ought to be shown, the one that deserves the gratitude is the wife. She does everything. In the tafsir of this ayah, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, talk about the blessing. Oh, amazing food you made, honey. This is so tasty. It might just be burnt too, but sometimes you just got to do it just to keep harmony and peace. Do it. It's okay. But show gratitude for every favor that is done. And if you don't, you can't thank somebody for the little gift that they got you. You'll never be able to thank Allah. Dream on. Allah's bounties, innumerable. You can't count. مَنْ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ النَّاسِ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ اللَّهِ. You couldn't thank the people, you'll never thank Allah. It just doesn't work like that. Thank the people for everything that they've done. And sometimes you don't even know something so small. Again, they didn't even expect it from you. Like a volunteer in the masjid. Oh my brother, you've been here since COVID and you've been here every single day. May Allah reward you. That's it. It was just a thanks with words. It was just showing appreciation with a simple lip service. It hits, it strikes, and it hits home. It means so much. It's not just gifting something like food or something. Yeah, we talk about this, especially when we talk about reaching out to the youth. We talk about, taking them out for coffee and dinner and lunch. And sure, absolutely. But when that kid was broken, when that kid was dejected in spirit, when that kid had no shoulder to cry on, when that kid needed somebody to talk to, and he found you, and you chose to give him a little bit of your precious time, priceless. No price tag. Priceless. After this, assist him in the best manner. People don't just need money. People need assistance in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. It's an elderly person. It's your neighbor. Oh, neighbors. We should have a whole series on neighbors. مَا زَالَ جِبْرِيلُ يُوصِينِي بِالْجَارِ حَتَّى ظَنَنْتُ أَنَّهُ سَيُوَرِّثُ. The Prophet said, Jibreel alayhi salam came to me so many times regarding the rights of neighbors. I started to think that they might just have a share in my inheritance. After I die, there's a share allocated for them too. Of course, it's not like that, but that's how much Jibreel alayhi salam came to emphasize the rights, to stress upon the rights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the neighbors. So anybody that needs any form of help, a child, an elderly, a teacher, a student, whatever it is. I mean, there's a million things, so many different ways. These kids that are out on the streets, and then sadly today using court. Anyways. But these kids that are out on the streets, they need help. Oh, they do. Alhamdulillah, it was so amazing on Sunday. We had about 8 youth, with some elders, of course, as well, started. The youth themselves started to reach out to the other youth. Oh yeah, most of those that I met in the group that I went with, we were only allowed to pair in groups of 2. They were all looking fine. They were all at home. But hey, eventually on the way back, there was a car, and we were told this car is here to pick up their stash. We couldn't catch them that day, but perhaps next time we do. The fact that we saw the car, we recognized the car, and we know, okay, maybe next time we run into the one driving the car in the passenger seat of the car, we might make another move. Today, at least the moment we make some effort to reach out to anyone, these efforts don't go to waste. Again, we may have just only reached out to those who were the good kids. They were doing their homework for online schooling at home. But wait, eventually we're going to reach out to others as well. And sometimes you might just reach that kid who'll tell you, I was about to give up. I was done with life. Wallahi, you'll hear stories like this. We just need to come out of the well and start to make a few visits, and that's it. You'll run into people whose stories will make you, wow, they'll blow your minds away. But that's when we start. And alhamdulillah, we started last Sunday. And oh yeah, this Sunday we're going to continue. If you're in the Abu Bakr Masjid area and you're listening to this, yep, please join us. Sunday after Asr Salah, it's only 45 minutes of your time. If you're not happy with what you get, money back guarantee. Inshallah, every Sunday after Asr Salah, join us. You don't even have to listen to the talk after Maghrib. Don't worry about that. Just come to make the visits and that's it. And that's what that's what I wanted from the first day we had this talk. That's exactly what I was hoping for. This is just talk. This is all talk. I'm talking. Yes, it's talk. Now we're actually getting the youth to go and explore. So the one I was with, very good friend, young man, he's like, you're going to do the talking, right? I said, sure, no problem. Yes, on Sunday I did the talking. I'll do the talking again. I just talk. Next week, I mean talking to people in real life, not from here. No, going out to meet people and talking to them. He was a little shy. No problem. Eventually, this young man's going to start talking himself. And you don't know with whom he is going to just be able to strike. And whose words when his words will impact or influence who. That's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Results are in His hands. But alhamdulillah, we've begun this. Anyways, we can go down through this list, but we're only going to continue next Thursday. It might just be Friday next week, but we'll keep you in the loop. There's no problem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easier for us to act upon all these things, because they're much easier said than done. To bring these into practice is sometimes so difficult. And it's just, we have to. It's not an option. These good deeds that we do, we need to secure them. We need to preserve them through good character, through these teachings. Otherwise, on the day of judgment, all my salat or whatever I've done, it's going to start washing away. And not only does it go in vain, it's transferred to the accounts of those that I really didn't get along with too well in this world. So if you can't reconcile, we can't squash all those problems, we're only giving them our good deeds, which is the last thing we want to do. There's a man who used to backbite about Abu Hanifa rahimahullah all the time. He used to talk so much garbage about him. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah used to deliver a nice, fresh plate of sweets to his door. He used to receive it. Hey, thanks. Abu Hanifa is the man. And he's talking. Every time somebody would come and deliver the message, no, man, he's talking about you. Please tell me, keep telling me. Let me return his favor by giving him these sweets. One day, the person stopped. There was no more telling Abu Hanifa that this person's talking bad about him. So Abu Hanifa rahimahullah stopped delivering the sweets. So this man inquired. He said, hey, where are my sweets? You've been sending them for the longest time. He said, you don't do me any good, so I don't do you any good. He said, what good? He says, I used to hear that you were backbiting me all the time, giving me your good deeds. I said, the little that I could do for you in return was give you these few sweets. Few sweets for your good deeds any day. Why not? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding.